Good evening and welcome to UBC News Tonight once again with me, SHARON Kyomugisha and Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. In UBC News Tonight, the second edition of the Cooperate Games. I beg your pardon. In UBC News Tonight, we start off with a long-distance runner, Jacob Kiplimo, that has scooped a second gold medal at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK. Now he outpaced two Kenyan athletes to lead the 5,000-meter race in style. He won the race in the season's best time of 13 minutes, 8 seconds and 8 microseconds, while Kenya's Nicholas Kimeli finished second in 13 minutes, 8 seconds and 19 microseconds. And his partner Jacob Krop finished third in 13 minutes, 8 seconds and 48 seconds. He beat competition from a match-organized Kenyan duo that had employed formidable teamwork to grab both gold and silver, showcasing a smart stretch in the last 20 meters to jeopardize their plan. Now he becomes the third Ugandan athlete to complete a double gold over the two distances, 10,000 meters and 5,000 meters, with the first being Moses Kipsiro in New Delhi back in 2010 and later Joshua Cheptegei in Gold Coast, Australia. The gold medal will now stretch Uganda's medal tally to 5, 3 gold and 2 bronze medals, so far with 2 days to the end of the Games. Very good news for Uganda, since we have some gold, 3 golds and 2 bronze medals so far, even if it's only a few days, 2 days actually, to the end of the Games. In more stories, the Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, has asked leaders of Busoga to mobilize and rally the people of Busoga to stir development and transform the sub-region. Alupo said there's need for leaders in Busoga to unite and rally the people and friends of Busoga to stir Busoga's development, I beg your pardon, to regain their lost glory. Take a look.
The Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, has appealed Busoga sub-region to embrace Busoga Development Consortium, a development arm of the area. Alupo thanked parents who have supported their children throughout the education cycle. Alupo said the government will continue to work with leaders of Busoga to effectively deliver services to the people.
I would like to thank His Highness for physically coming here to this ceremony to demonstrate the fact that education should always be given the first priority. And from his message, he has also highlighted that people of Busoga should educate the children. So, Your Highness, I would like to thank you on the personal note for showing all the subjects of Busoga that where there is education is where there is life, is where there is a future, is where there is development.
Alupo appealed to embrace parish development model, a government strategy or approach for organizing and delivering public and private sector interventions for wealth creation and employment generation at the parish level as the lowest economic planning unit. She was attending the graduation party of Timothy Kadaga, a son to the first Deputy Premier and Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, at Buzaya, Kamuli District. She applauded Timothy Kadaga for being a person of such character. She promised to put issues of Busoga at the forefront, including addressing the road network and the roads and the railway infrastructure.
All of them. Nursery, P1, go to school in Uganda, go to school at Gaeta, go to school in where and where. He did a great job.
She thanked the Chawazingo of Busoga, William Gabulana Diope IV, for encouraging the people of Busoga for treating education as a priority. The celebrations were attended by NRM National Vice Chairman Alhaji Moses Chigongo, FDC Vice President Salam Musumba, Minister for General Duties Kasule Lumumba, and the Kyabazinga of Busoga Kingdom, William Gabula Nadiope. Gabula noted that many children have attained education in the hands of Kadaga, including Basoga and non-Basoga children. The Kyabazinga advised the graduates to begin learning life skills including hard work, integrity and discipline, which help you to succeed in life, noting that under the Gabula Education Fund, they intend to extend scholarships to over 300 vulnerable children in the kingdom.
Now, in more stories, congratulations to the graduate, by the way. But moving on from that, Vice President Major Jessica Alupo has joined the NRM Campaign Team trail for Gogonyo County Parliamentary by-election happening in Palisade District. For a start, the Vice President addressed 3 rallies in Apopong Sub-County. Onyango reports.
Contestants in the Gogonya County Parliamentary by-election in Palisade District are only left with not more than 2 days to wind up the campaign trail. The NRM's Derrick Roni campaign trail is being led by the Director Mobilization NRM Party, Rosemary Nansoboga Seninde.
You are not going to go wrong if you vote for Ronnie, because he's a youthful man. He has made friends in Parliament, and I want to assure you, Ronnie will bring all his friends to make sure there is development in Gogonyo.
The team has conducted more than 4 mega rallies in the county this Sunday.
And when you see the way people are happy and jubilating, I mean, it's already done before even it's time.
We really strongly believe that with unity within the party, we are going to win this race.
We want politics of development, not politics of dividing people, not politics of fighting, not politics of hatred, but politics of development.
They were later joined by the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo.
Vice President wa Uganda. Yoga. Just be
Alupo challenged the local leaders to embrace education for their children if they are to secure a bright future.
Secondary schools. We don't have secondary school. Secondary schools. We are requesting if possible, they also get CB secondary schools. Toto Ikosa shall make a joke in the president. We want to appreciate your mom and our dad, the president. I know Abiakin on a caller, Sakio no Tirini to the Palisalo school. For giving us the tarmac from Tirini Palisa Umi.
Apopohoye? Aitio some do kere. Ipesur, Isapa, Ingwalasik, Imudukyok, Kere Somero. Orone Derrick Ashoman, Nesquanerar Nes MP. Ashoman, Nesararang Vice President. Honorable Seninde Ashoman, Nesarara Director Mobilization. Honorable Jennifer Namuyangwa, Minister Ashoman. Munda luero mere mwe utasa aerokoni yemutolu. Lwe utasa aeroti yemuto. Ashoman. Eliptenge sitio somata idwe kere.
In case of no further adjustments in the NRM camp program, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, also the party chairperson, will campaign in the district on Tuesday 9th August 2022, which is the final day of the campaign trail. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Palisade District.
Thank you so much, Robert Onyango, for all the details. Now, the Prime Minister, Robert Nabanja, has donated 15 million Ugandan shillings towards the construction of Bishop Chihanjide Memorial Hotel as St. Marys Kagadi Catholic Parish. Nabanja was officiating Silver Jubilee celebrations for St. Marys Kagadi Catholic Parish. Details follow.
The Prime Minister Robert Nabanja has laid a foundation stone for the construction of a multi-billion Bishop Chihanjide Memorial Hotel at St. Marys Kagadi Catholic Parish. She donated 50 million shillings towards the construction of the hotel and assured Kagadi residents of President Museveni's support to St. Marys Kagadi Catholic Church.
A hotel, a Yomurembe 5-star. Mulisa n'okimanya ngu twina kukwataniza nk'abakristo kurora ngu omulimo ogwo tukumala hati nyowe nja kuteekayo miliyoni 5 njazisasula mu bitweka 2.
The Bishop of Hoima Catholic Diocese, Vincent Chirabo, who led a Thanksgiving Mass and commissioning of a new Catholic church, thanked President Museveni for the appointing of Nabanja as the Prime Minister.
President tatuweberwe nakusagika n'obukonyezi bw'entebe ezirajja mu ekereziya muno. Honorable Prime Minister, ntusaba otuukize okusiima kwaitu ali President wa Uganda abokutusagika abokutugonza n'abokutwebembera kurungi.
Bishop Chirabo confirmed 880 children into the Catholic faith and also commissioned St. John's Rutete Catholic Health Center, asked Christians to use it well and encouraged them to work hard and promote peace. Monsignor Peter Kaverenge, Episcopal Vicar, Kagadi Vicariate, and also a parish priest, St. Mary's Kagadi Catholic Church, has promoted education, health, and evangelization.
Immunization can be done here. Even we donate blood so that people can be healthy mind in the healthy body. Even Jesus himself cured the people. That's why the church comes out with these 3 things: evangelization, that is the church; education, those are schools; and health. That's why we build such health centers, and the church also wants healthy people.
Meanwhile, the health center for in charge at St. John's Rutete, Dr. Aaron David Motegeki, says the health center, which started 3 months ago, has treated over 400 people. The newly confirmed children pledged to exhibit respect, kindness, hard work, and obedience to church authority.
The First Lady, who is also the Minister of Education and Sports, has commended the works African Evangelistic Enterprise in the country has done. She was speaking during the celebrations of the Golden Jubilee of the African Evangelistic Enterprise in Uganda, held at Makerere University, Kampala. Now, the First Lady, Janet Museveni, applauded the effort of the organization at promoting the education of children and different communities, which has promoted social and economic transformation.
Thank you.
The First Lady, who is also the Minister of Education and Sports, has applauded African Evangelistic Enterprise, AEE, for participating in the country's development. This was during the celebrations marking 50 years of the organization's founding by late Bishop of Kigezi, the Right Reverend Festo Chivenjere. The celebrations were held at Makerere University rugby grounds, and the First Lady, Janet Museveni, officiated the event. She thanked late Bishop Festo Chivenjere for the initiative and staying true to the great mission.
I become so emotional remembering that time and how difficult that time was. But that Bishop Chivenjere didn't mind that he was putting himself at risk, because identifying with us would make his own life at risk. But he overlooked that, and he was willing to stand out and help our family in a very difficult circumstance.
The First Lady also saluted the African Evangelistic Enterprise for partnering with government, especially at the level of early childhood development.
I have learned about your effort at promoting the education of children with disabilities and also community savings groups for community empowerment. This speaks volumes about your commitment to continue to walk the talk of discipling God's people through the word and deed, in partnership with the church, for which I salute you again. And as many of you probably know, many of these institutions are really devoid of the knowledge of God. It's our challenge in our generation now. As you may remember, in the olden days, many of our schools were founded by religious groups. Each school had a chapel in their compound, and Scripture Union was very active in schools. Our children, therefore, did not only develop intellectually, but in every aspect of their lives, including the spiritual aspect.
The former Prime Minister of Uganda, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, and the Minister of Industry, David Bahati, who are among the beneficiaries of evangelism of the African Evangelistic Enterprise, also thanked the organization for the continued service for the community.
And also of us who have benefited from that great work can be registered so that posterity will know that at one time Uganda was in big problems, but a core of church and religious leaders stood together and championed the cause for the Ugandans.
Bishop Festo Kivengeri got in touch with Strome Foundation in Norway and attracted them to start a ministry in Uganda. They established themselves in Kigezi diocese and started helping orphans, paying their school fees and changing their lives. Strome Foundation paid my school fees, bought me a mattress, books and a Bible, and to me, they were a good Samaritan in my life.
The Archbishop Emeritus Enweru Colombi expressed the need to build a monument and document all that is related to the founder, the late Bishop Festo Kivengere, for his service towards the church.
The reason why our church cannot grow, we don't honor the legacy of those who have gone by. Many of you don't even know Erika Sabiti, the first Archbishop Ugandan. Some of you don't even know Janani Luum. Perhaps Janani Luum is better because we commemorate him during Martyrs' Day. But Silvano Swani, we don't know these guys. Yona Koth, we don't know these guys. We need to celebrate the heroes of our church. We need to celebrate the revivalists who preach the gospel.
Inaugurating that office, to see that we stand on very, very strong foundations in people like Bishop Festo and of course Michael Cassis down in Southern Africa.
The African Evangelistic Enterprise was founded in 1971 during the late Idi Amin regime by the then Bishop Festo Kivengere, who died in 1988. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
The Archbishop of Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has urged Christians in Bukedde Diocese to prepare for a new diocese going to be carved out of Bukedde Diocese. During his first pastoral visit to Budaka, Kibuku and Toro, His Grace Dr. Kazimba Mugalu asked Christian leaders in Bukedde Diocese to initiate various development projects in preparation for new dioceses.
It was jubilations across Bukedde Diocese as Christians received the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, who visited Kibuku and Budaka districts in North Bukedde Zone and Tororo district in Central Bukedde Zone. Following the concern by Christians led by the Bishop of Bukedde Diocese, the Right Reverend Samuel Bogere echoed the need to create a new diocese from Bukedde.
This area is very big these are many dioceses. It is viable to have another diocese, but at the same time, we shall not just put a diocese for the sake of putting a diocese. That's why we're encouraging those areas to work hard, to stop talking about having a diocese. They should work, have requirements in place, houses, residences, the good churches, not only.
Dr. Kazimba Mugalo urged the Christians to make prior arrangements for quality service delivery.
I have seen it's a big diocese, a big one. I think in the future, the need to create another diocese definitely will be given attention. My advice to the diocese is to work hard to ensure they have where they will expect another headquarter to be, house of the bishop, office, and other. Because if I tell them now you must have your bishop, where are they going to house him? Where are the headquarters? So I think they need to be prepared.
During his visit to Tororo, Dr. Kazimba commissioned a new classroom block at Chisoko Boys Primary School constructed by the NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tango Doi, and also the old boy of the school.
He said, this is where you start your journey. And when he came of age, he told me, do for me one memorial thing. Build for Chisoko Boys a P1 and P2 block in memory of where you started. And name it after me.
Allow me to appreciate our dear brother, Tango Doi, for the great work we have done.
Thank you, thank you.
Amina. Aleka akati njagala kizimbe kino tekako ejjinja mu linnya lya kitaffe omwana omwoyo mutukuvu.
Sudat Kaye, Yiga Muhammad, UBC News.
In Kenya, the East African community has deployed 15 election observation teams to observe Kenya's general election set for Tuesday, August the 9th. Flagging off the teams from the EAC Election Observation Mission headquarters in Nairobi on Saturday, August 6th, the head of the Regional Block's Election Observer Mission, former Tanzanian President Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, said that the observers had undergone training over the past 5 days to enable them undertake their responsibilities as international observers and as EAC observers. Kikwete disclosed that the 52-strong EAC observer mission drawn from the EAC partner states in the East African Legislative Assembly, EALA, was deployed in 15 teams that will cover various counties in all the regions across Kenya. Kenyans are due to vote on August 9th in a high-stake election that pits Deputy President William Ruto against Raila Odinga, the veteran head of the opposition Orange Democratic Movement. Ruto will be trying for the top office for the first time, while President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is serving his second and last term, has backed the candidacy of his own long-time rival Odinga at the expense of his own deputy for 2 years. Odinga will be making his 5th bid to lead East Africa's largest economy. Kenya goes to the polls next week on Tuesday, the 9th of August 2022. In Kenya, like it is in Uganda, general elections are held after every 5 years. However, the incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta is not eligible for a 3rd term, as stated by the country's laws. As of the 6th of June 2022, only 4 presidential aspirants and their running mates had been cleared. These are David Wahiga Mwaure, leader of Agano Party, Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister of Kenya and leader of Orange Democratic Movement under Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, William Ruto, current Deputy President of Kenya and leader of United Democratic Alliance, and George Wajakoya, leader of Roots Parties of Kenya.
I'm Vincent Makori, VOA Africa, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. Today is Saturday. It is the final day for all campaigns. I'm here at Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi, where supporters of William Ruto, one of the top presidential candidates, have gathered here to listen to him on his final campaign rally.
On Tuesday, the people of Kenya will prevail over the deep state. The people of Kenya will prevail over the system, and we are going to have a nation that leaves no Kenyan behind.
And as he holds his rally here, the other top presidential candidate, Raila Odinga, is holding a similar presidential rally, a similar final rally at another stadium, Kasarani, which is on the opposite side of this particular stadium.
Fellow Kenyans, as you go to the ballot on Tuesday, I want you to know that we as a country are at inflection point. Either something very good will happen or something terrible will happen.
So, just to update you, on Saturday is the final day for all campaigns, and then there will be a break on Sunday and Monday, and then the Kenyans go to the polls on Tuesday to decide who's going to be the president for the next 5 years. Well, I'm Vincent Makori, VOA News, coming to you from Nyayo Stadium in Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, the Kenyans go to the polls on the 9th of August 2022, which happens to be on Tuesday, and UBC TV will be updating you because we have our reporters Juma and Sigoa in Kenya. Moving on from that, a wildlife conservator at the World Animal Protection Center, Edith Kabesime, says a number of wildlife is set for extinction unless tough measures are put in place. The lion, also known as the king of the jungle, is one of the animals set for extinction. As the world celebrates the Lion Day on the 10th of August this week, Ugandans have been advised to join the campaign to conserve the world's second largest cat, the lion.
Wildlife conservation is key to sustainable ecological management of nature. However, due to man's encroachment on natural reserves and insatiable greed for wealth, a number of wildlife species, including some big cats, are facing extinction. A campaign manager at World Animal Protection, Edith Kabesime, now wants stakeholders to embrace environmental conservation practices for the sake of protecting nature for generations.
We are now saying that actually, as human beings, we are witnessing what we call the sixth extinction, whereby we are seeing the fastest rate of extinction of species, the fastest rate of environmental degradation, disappearance of habitats, the sparing of species, and all this largely aided by man.
Kabesime says the world is yet to experience harsh weather if nothing is done to address human-wildlife conflicts emanating from conservation areas' encroachment.
Those are some of the human-induced threats that affect wildlife, because in those forests there used to be animals. And that's why, for instance, Kampala is called Kampala, because there used to be impala. I believe that is why maybe Chenjojo is called Chenjojo, because there used to be so many elephants.
Edith Kabesime says biodiversity loss has a big impact on arable land, settlements, economic gains, and national heritage.
If we talk about, for instance, the Albertine area, where we are now as Uganda looking to develop our oil sector, it is one of the biodiversity hotspots. That's where you find the elephants, you find the chimpanzees, you find the giraffes, the entire of that Albertine area, elephants and the rest. And what are we doing? Of course, those human-induced developments are going to displace some animals.
Kabesime says the number of lions in Africa are on a stable decline and appeals to all stakeholders to embrace wildlife conservation.
On the African continent, over the last maybe 50 years or so, we have lost close 90%. Lions have lost close to 90% of their original habitat. Lions are extinct in the 26 countries where they formerly existed.
Great Lakes Safaris Managing Director Amos Wekesa wants Ugandans to preserve the lions jealously.
The money I spend along the route as I go to see the lion is the money that is counted towards the conservation, towards the lion. That means 10 lions in a year bring us $1 million. And how many tomato growers will grow tomatoes to make $1 million that come from foreign? It's very difficult. But so the lions are a very quick way of a country earning money.
The Wildlife Conservation Society Country Director Simon Takoze Chibina says Uganda has about 400 lions left in the wild.
And we did the lion census in Murchison Falls National Park, Depot Valley National Park, and Queen Elizabeth National Park. At that time, Queen Elizabeth National Park had 144 individuals, and the other two protected areas, Depot Valley National Park and Murchison Falls National Park, each had 132.
As Uganda joins the rest of the world to mark the International Lions Protection Day, it is important to address issues and policies that favor their existence. Sudat Kaye, Douglas Setumba, UBC News.
In the early 70s, after 10 years into post-independent Uganda, the third president of the Republic of Uganda ordered the expulsion of Asians in Uganda, giving them only 90 days to leave the country. In today's episode of Commander-in-Chief, we relay to you what transpired 50 years ago at City Square when the president of the Republic of Uganda, General Idi Amin Dada, told the world that he was giving Uganda back to ethnic Ugandans.
Welcome to Commander-in-Chief Files, and in this episode of CNC Files, we bring you reasons for the expulsion of Asians given by the Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency General Idi Amin, the President of the Republic of Uganda, from 1971 to 1979. In early August 1972, the President of Uganda, Idi Amin, ordered the expulsion of his country's Asian minority, giving them 90 days to leave the country. At the time of the expulsion, there were about 80,000 individuals of Indian descent, mostly Gujaratis in Uganda, of whom 23,000 had their applications for citizenship both processed and accepted. Although the latter were ultimately exempted from the expulsion, many chose to leave voluntarily. The expulsion took place against a backdrop of Indophobia in Uganda, with President Amin accusing the Asian population of disloyalty, non-integration, and commercial practice, claims that Indian leaders disputed. President Amin defended the expulsion by arguing that he was giving Uganda back to ethnic Ugandans.
In this connection, I wish to make it clear that any public officer or any member of the armed forces is free to resign or retire from his post and take up business full time. Indeed, the government would welcome such a move, as it is important that capable people should not only work in government but also in the private sector if our economy is to be effectively controlled by our people. This is even more important at the present time when we are in the process of transferring the control of our economy into the hands of our indigenous people. But no one will be allowed to acquire more than one business, industry, or buildings. To assist government in carrying out this exercise smoothly and equitably, forms have been prepared which I believe you are already familiar with as a result of the meeting which you had with my ministers this morning. I would like to take this opportunity to advise the outgoing Asians that it is in their own interest that they fill the appropriate forms as a matter of urgency to enable their property to be disposed of as soon as possible.
Many of those expelled were citizens of the United Kingdom and colonies, and 27,200 migrated to the United Kingdom. Of other refugees who were accounted for, 6,000 went to Canada, 4,500 refugees ended up in India, and 2,500 went to nearby Kenya or Pakistan. In total, some 5,655 farms, ranches, and agricultural estates were relocated, along with cars, homes, and other household goods.
Well, we got to relive 1972 today and to understand what happened when the Asians were expelled from Uganda. But we're now glad that the environment is settled and they live freely in Uganda. Moving on from that, Uganda Cancer Institute needs more funds to help stem cancer impact on the country's population. A senior administrator at the Cancer Institute, Richard Tumwesije, says government funds to institute are not enough. Now, Richard said this while receiving a donation from the Charlie Muga Foundation, a teenager cancer survivor who decided to give back to the community. And watch as you enjoy the story.
We get all our resources from government, but as you are aware, the government resources are not sufficient. That leaves some of our priorities unattended to or unfunded, and that's why we call upon well-wishers, development partners, corporate bodies, and any individual person who has a good heart, who is good-hearted, to come and support the fight against cancer by making a donation of whatever form.
Just like times where I'll be alone, I'd really think about how mentally it affected me, how it affected my parents. So I just wanted to just help those that are going through the same experience with me. And some advice would be that it gets better and you'll be able to make it through it.
There is a saying that goes that diagnosis of a cancer can be a very long and lonely journey. Many people tend to think that once you finish your chemotherapy cycles, that's the end, but actually that's the beginning of your mental and psychological illness, for which I realized Charlie was suffering. He was going through that, the fact that he had to catch up with a few things like hair loss as a child who was 10, because he was diagnosed when he was 9, but by the time he finished his treatment, he was 10. Hair loss, change in color, weight gain, weight loss. So that really did impact on his psychological and mental well-being. So I encouraged him to apply talking therapy and interact with other patients, other oncology patients, or other patients who are in remission.
Well, glad that he gets to give back to community. Now we'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with business stories, international news and sports news.
Film Kazimba. Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Hey guys, please let's have a brief meeting. See that? Calls, data, SMS, shareable among 5 people. What? And it includes free Airtel TV. Do you guys know what that means?
Means no worry.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans. Shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay at the end of the month.
They've also added Showmax. Oh.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
The Tales of Kassozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kassozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
John Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
17 minutes to 11 p.m. and in our business stories, the said Minister for Cooperatives, Frederick Ngobi Gume, has appealed to parliamentarians to advocate for more funding in Emuga projects to enable setting up of Emuga Bank for low-income earners. Now, the minister made this appeal during the meeting with Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources, where they met for with Emuga beneficiaries of Busoga region.
The Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources, led by Chairperson Kefa Chiwanuka, also Member of Parliament representing Chiboga, have visited Emuga beneficiaries in Busoga to assess performance. The Chairperson applauded the Busoga Emuga SACCO members for utilizing Emuga funds.
You find that the money that they are given, which is 30 million, is not enough. There is a question of how we should be responding to that. The 30 million definitely needs to be increased. And I think that's how they came in to talk about the additional 200 billion that is required. Some groups have more members than what had actually been anticipated.
Some of the Emuga beneficiaries appreciated government for introducing this project that has enabled them to improve on their income.
The SACCO has secured markets of the products to other countries like Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, and Saudi Arabia.
We try to mobilize our total saving, 34 million,
491,000.
Some members of the committee are unhappy with the performance of the Myoga in some regions.
What affirmative action do you have in plan to resolve that problem where Northern Uganda is not doing well?
I saw that recoveries were 15%. The bankers here can advise whether that is a normal rate. We might be counting what we don't have.
The State Minister for Cooperatives, Frederick Ngobi Gume, warned those that are misusing Myoga funds.
This is the best way. It is the best way our people in the villages, in towns, organized groups can access cheap credit. They can use and pay back. When you take 8% per annum, they are giving out money at 0.8 or 0.9 per month. This is very good for us, and we want to encourage, and as government, we think this is the best way we can achieve in fighting the middlemen. That is my problem. The middlemen have exploited our farmers in the absence of credit.
The Executive Director, Uganda Microfinance Support Center, said that they have put affirmative action in all regions that is yet to yield results.
There are those which are doing much better than others. For example, West Nile is among the regions which are not doing well, and this is mainly because the circles have not developed or matured properly in that area. Would need to do much more in terms of strengthening the circles so that they can qualify for funding.
After the committee members visited works for Myoga beneficiaries in slums of Jinja, some of the visited beneficiaries highlighted challenges they encounter. Wadulo Makanold, Sabira Andrew, UBC News.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using 2 Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
From the international scene in UBC News tonight, millions of tons of grain have been stuck in Ukraine due to Russian blockades leading to shortages and higher food prices in other countries. But last week, the first ship left Ukraine's port since February. Now, the latest ships to set sail are bound for Turkey, where they'll be inspected as part of a deal reached with Russia and the United Nations. They left this Sunday from the ports of Odessa and another port and will all travel through the Bosphorus Strait. After the inspections, 2 are then scheduled to dock in Turkey while the others are headed to Italy and China. Another empty ship has been authorized to travel to Ukraine for loading. Under a deal brokered by Turkey and the UN last month, Russia agreed not to target ships which were in transit, while Ukraine said it would guide vessels through mined waters. The success of this deal, a rare diplomatic breakthrough in this 5-month-old conflict, is vital for Ukraine and the rest of the world. 20 million tons of grain are stuck in the country as a result of the blockade imposed by Russia on Ukraine ports. If the deal holds, Ukraine expects to export up to 3 million tons of grain per month.
War goods, weaponized food, and a literal war zone.
Now, the UN's nuclear watchdog has called for an immediate end to a military action near Ukraine's nuclear plant, warning of a very real risk of a nuclear disaster. IAEA Chief Rafael Mariano Grossi said he was extremely concerned by reports of shelling at Europe's largest nuclear power plant. It comes as Ukraine said parts of the facility were seriously damaged by Russian military strikes. It has kept its Ukrainian employees, but Kyiv accuses Russian forces of firing rockets at civilian areas from the site, employing terror tactics. Friday's strikes underline the very real risk of a nuclear disaster that could threaten public health and the environment in Ukraine and beyond. Mr. Grossi said in a statement, Ukrainian staff must be able to carry out their important duties without threats or pressure, he said, adding that IAEA should be allowed to provide technical support. The operator of the plant said that the Russian missile strikes had forced the closure of the power unit, adding that there was a risk of radioactive leaks. The strikes caused a serious risk for the safe operation of the plant, operator wrote on Telegram.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using to Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
As we come to an end in our UBC News Tonight, in our sports stories, the second edition of corporate games continued this Sunday at the Chambogo Cricket Oval, with teams engaging in over 10 sport disciplines that included netball, woodball, football, sack race, among others. The games that kicked off last month have seen about 33 companies of 40 registered turn up for the games outing this Sunday. Notable companies including Uganda Airlines, UNBS, Prestige Driving School, C-Lab, Radio 4 and Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, which is also among the sponsors of this edition. Now, the corporate games are a platform for companies to network and share ideas outside of their confined workplaces. However, the main goal is to help the corporates stay healthy physically and mentally as they engage in different sports. These games are strictly for corporate organizations and for only the employees of those companies. The 2022-2023 season will run until May 2023, and the corporate games outings return on the first Sunday of September.
Those morning exercises at 9, for close to 40 minutes. It really makes you sweat and wears you out. By the time you begin the real games, you're almost tired. But it's a whole new kind of experience altogether. And we are happy we are going through this.
We're drumming up corporates to join us. This is our second outing, and we are glad to note that we have 30 companies that have joined us on this second outing. And we see a lot of excitement among us corporates. This particular outing, we're having chess for training. We're training them in chess so that in the next outing we'll have chess. But also we are competing in sack racing as a fun game, and we're also training them in woodball, but also we are competing in soccer and netball. And we're happy that corporates are beginning to turn up in big numbers. And as we told you that we will have over 40 companies this season participating. Those that have registered are 40, and those that have turned up today are 33. We hope that the next third edition will have more companies, and they are welcome.
Corporate games actually is one way of creating unity, bonding, and creating friendships with other companies. You get to know what other companies do. You get to iron out all the differences. You get to showcase what you do, and everyone gets to know what everyone does. So it's really a very, very good experience. I wish this actually goes on every year. It would really be good.
At the end of the game, our mind is going to be relaxed. We are going to know many faces. And as NBS, we are also getting that free relaxing time. So, and also the brain is going to be fine.
Thank you so much for joining us at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way during the UBC News Tonight. My name is Sharon Kyomugisa with Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language from the team, and I have a lovely night, a very beautiful week, and well, whatever you touch should be blessed. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Samili with your weather update. We are experiencing light isolated showers in combination with thundery intervals, and this is due to the rainfall that is far north of our country. So the rainfall that we are receiving lately is due to the local effects, more especially the Lake Victoria Basin. Tomorrow morning, we expect to wake up with light isolated showers across some parts of Lake Victoria and parts of Gulu, but the rest of the country is expected to have sunny intervals. Afternoon hour, though, we expect a pickup of light isolated showers some parts of our country, but mainly northern part of our country, and still some parts of Lake Victoria, but the rest of the country, like the southwestern of our country, is expected to have sunny intervals. Temperature is up to 30 degrees Celsius across northern part of our region, 29 most parts of our country, 31 across Cassis, Kabal Highlands with 25 degrees Celsius. Is moving out of Kampala, traveling a few cities across the group. We are forecasting sunny intervals across our neighborhood in Nairobi at a maximum 25 degrees Celsius, New York with light isolated thunder showers, London, Dubai and Belgium is expected to have sunny conditions at a maximum 43 degrees Celsius across Dubai. Thanks for tuning on UBC. My name is Samili. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.
MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.